Hi, it's Sai, your impact icon, and I am really excited to talk to the baby fundraisers in the room today about what to expect when it's your very first time fundraising. Let's get into it. In this video, I'm going to help you understand what fundraising is and what it's not, the secret language of development, and most importantly, what development is all about, the secret sauce. First, let's get into what is fundraising and what is it not. Well, first of all, fundraising is not begging for money. It is not something that is shameful or frowned upon. In fact, it's really a great honor to be able to invite people in to fundraise and build up community alongside you. I always say that, as fundraisers, especially those of us who are lucky enough to have a position with a nonprofit organization as our paid career, we get the opportunity to have impact every day. But most people don't get that opportunity. So I think of it as being kind of the host of a really fun party where you get to invite people in to have impact alongside you and through your organization. So really, it's a gift to offer people that opportunity to have impact and to make a difference in the community that they love and care for. I know one of my first donors ever was a major donor in the community and ended up giving one of the largest gifts I was able to secure for a nonprofit. And what I realized with working with him is that he really cared about this community and had been giving for years, but at this point in his life, he was really thinking about legacy and how important it would be to leave a legacy. And so he wanted to use money that he had accumulated through his career and at this point of transition where he was selling some of his companies to make that lasting impact. So, without asking, he would have never had the opportunity to do that. And so I always think about that example and always remember the old adage of never making up your donors' minds for them. Well, let's get into some of the lingo that people use in fundraising. First of all, people kind of use fundraising and development interchangeably. So you might hear somebody say, are you on the development team? Or, maybe for your org structure, there's the word development or even in your title. So fundraising and development are essentially the same thing. It is the nonprofit way of saying that we are raising money for this good cause and for our nonprofit organization. Another term that might come up is stewardship. Now, stewardship is really just the opportunity and the skill of being able to make sure that your donors feel seen, that they feel thanked, that they understand that we are grateful for the gifts that they're making. So stewardship is really just a gratitude opportunity or system that you create to make sure that your donors feel properly thanked. Major gifts, lead gifts, general gifts, these are all different types of gifts or different levels of giving depending on the size of your organization or the size of the fundraising campaign. So a lead gift might be 20% of a big goal. In a capital campaign, it would be about 20% of that large goal. Major gifts are, depending on the org size or the size of your capital campaign, they're going to be gifts that are really the larger gifts in the campaign, and general gifts would be everything else. So it all depends on what kind of funding you're looking for. Let's say you're an organization of $2 million. A major gift for you might be $50,000. That might be a really great gift. It might be some of your larger gifts, or maybe $100,000. Now, I mentioned capital campaign. A capital campaign is separate and apart from your annual campaign. Every organization should have an annual campaign because you usually have to keep raising money through the year in order just to keep the lights on, right? So your annual fund is going to be basically any donations that are for the purpose of keeping the organization going and its status quo, essentially, allowing for the programs that are already in existence to continue and for y'all to continue having the impact that you are having now. A capital campaign or a comprehensive campaign is a special campaign that is separate from your annual fund. It's usually a multi-year campaign, and it's a campaign that usually is for a really large goal, larger than any other campaign that your organization would throw. And so this could be to buy a building, or this could be to start a new program or to hire a new team. It's really like when you have a big vision and you really want to get the community behind it to ask for a special gift in addition to their regular annual gifts to your annual fund. In addition, there's lots of small campaigns that can go into your annual fund. So you might have a monthly giving campaign. This is when donors simply give a monthly gift. It could be of any size. Usually they're smaller gifts because they're giving every month, so that accumulates over the year. Monthly giving programs are one of my favorites because it allows for people of all incomes to really take part and have impact. And it also gives the nonprofit this stable income that's coming every month and that they can count on, right? And so that gets really helpful on the back end as well. There can also be, campaigns that y'all do every year, like your annual fundraiser, if you have a gala, if you participate in some of these peer-to-peer fundraisers that happen annually. So those campaigns can all give into your annual fund. Now, what is a prospect? A prospect is just somebody who might be a donor of your organization, right? So qualifying prospects is the idea that you want to make sure that every donor that you're thinking about engaging at least has some qualities that makes it likely that they will give to your organization. Do they have the ability to give? Do they have the belief in your mission? Do they have the contact with your organization that makes it likely? I like to call those the ABCs of donor prospecting. So whenever someone talks about a prospect, it's just a matter of saying, here's somebody in the community that could end up being a donor. That could be individuals, it could be corporations, it could be local companies, it could be really any entity that might be a prospect and giving to your organization. Now, moves management is the idea that you are going to be building with the prospect towards a gift. So that means having multiple touches with them. Generally, the rule is that you want to have 7 touches for every donor in order to get them to a donation, right? So touches can be very light, or they can be more heavy, touches. They can be as simple as, the newsletter goes out every month. That's a touch for each donor. It could be Instagram posts that, are engaging them specifically. It could be a handwritten note, a handwritten thank you. It doesn't have to ever be necessarily an ask. The 7 touches can really be so much more. And really you want them to be all of these non-asks, if you will. You want them to be just engagements, basically. So it's a phone call, it's a note, it's a letter, it's a post, it's a newsletter, it's an individual email. It's anytime that you touch someone, and when you put that all together, it's moves management, right? It's the idea of moving someone from, 1 touch to 2 to 3 to 4 until you can get up to that ask. And then you can make sure to thank them once you get a gift, and then it starts all over. So then you want to go ahead and report out the impact that they had, and set yourself up for more touches and more apps. Now, one way to track all of that is through your CRM. So a CRM is basically a database for your donors, and the wonderful thing about having a CRM is that you have everything all in one place, whether or not it's you or someone else managing it, whether or not you are there or you move on, you have the information for that organization so that they don't lose those relationships with donors that you've built. So if you're a brand new baby fundraiser, ask about the CRM, get access to the CRM. If there's not a CRM, it would be one of the first things that I would suggest you do is set up a CRM. There's lots of great CRMs out there for donor databases. Just Google that and you'll find so many options and opportunities. If you need recommendations, let me know. But set up a CRM just so that you can track all of your good work, and you can show your receipts, and you can show folks that you are doing the development work and it's going to pay off. And then a lot of these CRMs today, they give you the analytics that you need so that you can also show folks, this is what we've seen before I started these efforts, here are the efforts I put in, and now we're seeing donations rising. So make sure to keep notes. Lastly, with all of this jargon, I just want y'all to remember you do not have to memorize this to be a good fundraiser. The secret sauce that's coming up is really where you're going to make or break your fundraising career. It's not about all the jargon, it's really about people. So we'll get into that next. Okay, so what is the secret sauce to fundraising? Surprise, it's people and relationship building. Fundraising is all about relationships. It's not about how perfect your copy is or how beautiful the photos are, or really perfectionism at all. In fact, a lot of times it's quite the opposite. Now, why is this true? Because people give to people. They really do. They give to people who care to pay attention to them, who care to listen to them, who care to invite them into having impact. And listening is your secret skill, right? It's the most important thing. It's one of the things that I had a really hard time with at first, because I thought, I need to sell, I need to give them reasons to give. But really, listening is the opportunity for the donor to make that decision themselves on whether or not this is important to them. So make sure that you're listening more than you're speaking with donors. And what are you listening to? You're listening to the answers of questions that you're offering your donor prospects. Now, you have to stay curious. Curiosity is also a superpower. If you are new in town or new to this nonprofit organization, or even to this, type of nonprofit space, talk to someone and just ask them questions like, hey, how did you get involved with this organization? Why do you give? Or what would you like to see change or be different or be improved in this space? Like, what kind of impact do you like to have? These are all just open-ended questions that you can offer a donor prospect, and literally just listen, take good notes, show them that you're interested, do follow-up questions, make sure that they know you're listening and that you really, really care what they're saying. One little tip I want to mention is that you always want to start by asking for advice. Now, that might seem counterintuitive because, of course, you're trying to probably raise money as a fundraiser, right? But there's an old adage that says, if you want advice, ask for money. And if you want money, ask for advice. So as a new fundraiser, it's actually a really great opportunity to be new and introduce yourself to folks that otherwise wouldn't know you as part of this organization, and just ask for advice, because the more you learn about your donor prospects, the more you'll know what would meaningful impact look like to them, and it will set you up for that ultimate ask. And after you have a good donor meeting, whether it be over the phone or whether it be in person or even through letter exchange, make sure to follow up. The follow-up is key. So I talked before about the 7 touches. This is where you get the opportunity to really make a lot of touches. So let's say I send you an invite, you accept the invite, we meet up for coffee, and then I send you a thank you note for meeting up for coffee, and then I send you an article a few days later that I find that is about something we spoke about, right? That's 4 touches already. So make sure to follow up, because that is what builds trust, and trust is what really makes someone secure enough to give to you to have impact in your organization. And again, don't worry about being perfect. Perfection is overrated. Authenticity is where it's at. So if you have personal stories that you feel comfortable sharing, it's more about that connection. How do you relate to a donor? If they grew up in the Midwest and you did too, talk about, the snow, talk about how you all, went sledding when you were kids, or whatever it might be. Just make that connection, find something to connect on, to relate to, and use your personal life story to just relate and show your humanity. Let them know that you're not going to treat them like an ATM. You're treating them like you should, as a respectable person in the community that you're really grateful for, to even consider giving any of their time, talent, or treasure to your organization and having impact in the community that you serve. So make sure to recognize the humanity in them. Make sure to recognize the humanity in yourself too. Now, another really important thing that I need you to hear is that rejection is part of the game. It's not always going to be a yes, believe me, and that's okay. You have to do some of your own work in order to make sure that you are not taking this stuff personally, right? Now, when I get a no personally, the way that I have found really helps me to keep pushing through, not to be pushy, but to keep pushing through and doing my work consistently, is that I never take a no as a no forever. I think of it as a no right now. Not right now, or not for this program, or not for, this organization, or not for, this specific new initiative, right? Whatever you're asking about. So I always believe that when someone says no, it actually means that they care. Because one thing that people can do if you don't have them face to face is, they can get all your communications, they can get the mail, physical mail, the email, the letters, and they can just ignore them, right? Or never even open them. And with technology today, you can see the open rates, you can see who's actually reading what you send with virtual sendings. And so just the fact that they're looking means that they care. And the fact that they care to respond if they didn't have to, that actually means that they care. And even negative feedback, when people say, hey, I don't like how you said that thing in that newsletter, I like to think, well, hey, they care what's in this newsletter, and that's major. So always take note with a little grain of salt. Now, if you're just starting out in your nonprofit, the first thing you wanna do is make sure that you have systems in place. Now, starting systems early is really the best thing that you can do, because you're gonna do amazing. I know you're going to engage so many donors and you're gonna have so many leads before you know it. But if you don't manage those leads and those prospects properly, before you know it, you have people falling through the cracks. You can't remember who you talked to about what, you don't remember the last conversation, and then you're really just kind of starting over and over again. And that is the last thing that you wanna do, because time is very precious in the development space, right? With relationship building, it's all about time investment. So the first thing you want to see is whether or not your organization has a CRM or a donor database. And if they don't, but you're able to get one, make sure to put one in place like we talked about. Now, if for some reason it's impossible to do, if there's no budget whatsoever, let's say it's a really scrappy situation, that's okay. Go on Google and, start a Google Excel spreadsheet. I know Excel is actually Microsoft, but start a spreadsheet any way that you can, for free if you can. And just start tracking those donor interactions, because you're going to be so grateful later when you have another meeting with Todd, and you're able to look back at your notes and remember that he has a dog, and his dog is named Lucky, and he loves this dog so much, and you are both dog lovers, and it's something that you commiserated on before. It's something you want to bring up again. Maybe you even want to bring him a little gift for his dog, right? Like anything that's going to give that little hook, give that little connection point. You want to make sure that you have that in your notes. So take lots of notes. Make sure you have a CRM or a spreadsheet where you can track all your donor interactions. Make sure you get those notes in there right after the meeting if possible, because we know our memories and our notes are not perfect. So get them in there while they're fresh. And then before every donor meeting in the future, make sure to look back and see what you have for that person, and go ahead and continue the conversation from there. That's how you do relationship building, block by block by block, just building on what you've already built. Now, you're a new baby fundraiser, but you are not alone. So remember to, just make community. Subscribe here, go to your local fundraising professional association, right? Look them up. There's national ones, there's regional ones, there's local ones usually. And maybe go to the events that they have. They usually have learning opportunities, and most importantly, they have other fundraisers available to you that you can really connect with and you can hopefully lean on in times of need. You can also write me, and I'm happy to try to help you through your issues as well. So feel free to get on these channels, get on these associations, get on those boards, anywhere that you can find community. Go ahead and seek community, because you don't want to be out here feeling like you're doing it on your own. Especially for those of you who don't have a development team. If you're just, a team of one, you have opportunities to at least, throw some things against other people, see what's making sense, what works in their experience. And I want you to avoid burnout, because, the development space, people think it's a really, really just like kind of fun space with not a lot of seriousness going on, but I can tell you that that's not true. There are fun times if you're a person who likes, a lot of relationship interaction, then yeah, that's great. But a lot of it is, being consistent, tracking all of the work that you're doing, being really organized, hearing a lot of rejection, right? And a lot of pressure sometimes from the organization, but understand that you are not the sole person responsible for raising all the money. That's another key thing. Make sure to talk to your executive director or your board of directors or the church leadership or, you know, the fundraiser, the head fundraiser, event coordinator, whoever it may be that is really in charge of, you know, the fundraising initiative. And make sure that you make expectations very clear, right? Like, what are they expecting, and is it or is it not realistic? Make sure that, you know, you do a little homework and you let them know, like, hey, if you're looking to, I don't know, raise 50% more annually than you are, you know, this year, it might take a year or two before you can build up to that. So make sure to manage expectations, both for them and for yourself, because the burnout is very common and it can be very serious. And so you want to make sure that you are still enjoying your life, that you know how to rest, you know how to take care of yourself, and you know how to put boundaries around yourself as well, because everybody will probably want a little piece of you and they all have their ideas, right? So be really clear with your boundaries. You know, don't be unapologetic, or don't be unapologetic rather. Don't be apologetic, but be, you know, just sincere in saying, like, this is important. We got to have these boundaries, and this is why I need it, because I want to be able to be consistent in this work. This is how much I can handle as a single fundraiser. And then you can always talk about capacity building, right? And there's opportunity to even do capacity building campaigns, which we'll talk about another time. So make sure to keep taking care of yourself as well throughout. All right, icons. So if you are new to fundraising, I want you to know that you got this. You can become a fantastic, fabulous fundraiser, in fact. Because fundraising is a skill. It's not a talent. It's not about the connections you have. It's really about, what is your skill set? Are you organized? Are you consistent? So come through and join the community waitlist, because remember, fundraising is a skill set and we are here to help you build it. We can't wait to have you in community so that we can help you be the impact icon you were meant to be.